Hey y'all, and welcome to another episode of Highly Talkative, where we get high in conversation and discuss many topics from personal to community to anything that's going on in the world. So sit back, get cozy, and let me talk to you. Let's go. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Highly Talkative. It's your girl, A. Millie, and let's just say this week was a doozy, okay? I'm starting a little off script before I really even get into things. Today is Tuesday, the 26th. Yesterday was Memorial Day, and it was just a lot going on. A little overstimulated. My boys got on my freaking nerves. Love them dearly, but once they hit that point of like, we're not listening and we don't really care what you have to say, or what I feel like is we don't really care what you have to say, I'm over it. So that's kind of like where we were and where we're coming back from. Not today, this is the last week of school for us, so hopefully things just die down a little bit, give me a little bit more time to rest, and then starting work back and just all the things. But of course, as always, I do have a list that I want to give you guys, and we're going to start from there. Ironically, as soon as I get done complaining, the first one is being very thankful. Then we have feeding into myself and my kids and their activities. The Miss Pat show and how it's like really funny as fuck. I've watched the show 3 times in total, like from first season to 5th, and every time there's something new for me to laugh at, like, let's be honest. And then something that me and my therapist was talking about, also something that I've heard on the Breakfast Club, which is live like you already have it. And then we're also going to have on this episode a little snippet of the interview that I had with my son and his bros. So stay tuned for that. And then also I'm going to have the release of the full episode come out on a whole different drop. But both of those will be out today. So please look for both of them because, the support is greatly appreciated. And the bros are so cute and so funny. It's ridiculous. So let's start with being very thankful. My support system, myself and my work ethics, the opportunities that I've been given, my life lessons and blessings, being able to provide for my babies, my own personal growth, the road my mother started paving for us. And, I think I've spoken about this before. So those all fall under the just very thankful category. My support system, let's start there. They're amazing. From my oldest son's godmother to my dad to my sister to the football moms to Tootie and Joelle. Like, everybody is just very supportive of me, and I really do appreciate it. And that's with like my kids, my podcast, me, myself, if I need something. It's just a blessing, and I'm very thankful to have the support system that I have. Like I said, even on Monday, which was Memorial Day, my youngest son was just supposed to go to his bro's house and just hang out. And Tootie was just like, y'all, you can let your oldest swim. It's fine. So we ended up just chilling out over there, ordering pizza. And it was just a vibe. But that falls under just like being thankful that I have friends like that where we don't have anything planned and we can turn something into nothing. And that's also for my best friend, Alex. Like, she's the bee's knees. I don't want to say she tops everybody because that's a little biased, but my girl has really shown up and shown out for me this last couple of months. And I think I've said this before on another podcast episode that I've done, but I'm so beyond grateful for her. And it's just crazy how the universe really works in our favor when we feel like there's nothing else there. Being able to reflect on like my support system and those who've been around me for a while now and hasn't switched up or what have you, it's just having me be very thankful because, like I said, it's been a journey from being like hyper independent to feeling like I'm a burden to other people. It's just been a very long journey for me, but this group that I have now has really made it easy for me to just ask for things and not feel like a burden or not even have to ask for anything and for them to just show up for me. So very thankful there. I'm also very thankful for myself and my work ethic. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough, but then I remember that I'm doing a lot, especially with me having a newborn. Like, yeah, she's 2 months old, but she's still a newborn in my eyes. And I am striving to be the best part of me that I can absolutely be. I'm striving to be that millionaire that I see myself in the future. I see myself you know, just doing great things in the future. And my work ethic really reflects on that. Like, even with me starting this new business, I didn't just start it and then just leave it alone. Like, I'm promoting it every day. All it takes is one person to believe in your business for it to get a jump start. So the grind doesn't stop. Like, I'm very consistent with what I'm trying to do because I have places that I want to go. And that's really like the mindset. Just like we spoke about in the podcast with Clinton Tootie, you guys can also go reference that. It's a episode that I had with this married couple, which are my baby's bros parents. I know that's like a lot, but I strive to be successful. And, I do journal a lot, but like Clint had referenced to me, like it's also a Bible verse, I think, like write it down, make it plain, or write it down, make a plan, or something to that nature where, yes, I see myself in the future with these things. And yes, I can see myself with those things in the future. And yes, I'm working towards what I want for the future, but I also need to write it down and make a plan. Like, make it very plain, make a plan about what it is that I want and how I want it, what I'm going to do with it, where I see myself, my house that I see myself in, the way I see myself spending these millions or having these millions or getting these millions. Like, it's just something that I'm really working on. So, like I said, I'm very thankful for myself because the work ethic that I do have, that some people, like, I think I look for validation through some people when the validation just needs to be within myself, because I've really been doing it. Like, I could have fallen into like a depression, or I could have just fallen into a spot where, I'm not working right now. I'm on maternity leave. I'm just going to take this time for myself. But instead, like, I completely flipped it in a way that kind of works for me. But also, with that being said, like, very thankful for therapy, because without the therapy, I don't think I would have been able to really think the way that I think and process things the way that I process them. So, with therapy, and again, you guys hear me talk about this almost every episode, I'm a big advocate for therapy, especially because this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. And it's just something that I hold very near and dear to my heart. Um, like I said, without therapy, I don't think I would have been able to go about things the way that I went about them with this time that I've had at home and with my baby girl and just like getting back into work. So, like I said, my work ethic, very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for the growth that I have seen myself go through, and just thankful for therapy because my growth has come a long way as well. I have come into more patience. I've come into more realization. I've come into more just self preservation and perseverance, and really just looking within myself and figuring out what it is that I want for myself, for my kids, the foundation that I want to set, and where my mom left off or where I want to pick back up. Because my mother also set this foundation for, I can only speak for myself, but my mother set a foundation for me that is so immaculate that I feel like I have to do something with it. Like, I can't just let this foundation crumble. I need to start building mountains and everything on this foundation, mountains, roads, houses, communities. Like, this foundation that my mother set for me, I cannot let her down. And it was in my best interest for me to make her proud while she was here. And although she's not here physically, she's still here in spirit. And she shows up for me every time that I have doubt. And she shows up in many different ways. And I'm very appreciative for that. So I still want to make her proud. Like, I still want to take this foundation, turn it into something great, leave that for my kids. And then, just like I said, it keeps growing and growing and growing. With that being said, it's also the opportunities that I've been given. Sometimes I feel like I'm sitting stagnant, or when something gets snatches away, I feel like I'm lost. But then I have to remember that for everything that came into my life, it's really taught me something. And I have to really sit back, digest, manifest, meditate, and really understand what had been given to me at that time for me to flourish and move forward in my life. So, with those opportunities, I'm very thankful. I'm also very thankful for the opportunity to just work from home. I don't take that for granted. I know sometimes it may seem like it, but I get to run my businesses still. I still get to make money on the times that I like, with the time frame that I need to make money, and then the time that I have for myself to run my businesses, and then just the knowledge that I've gained from each job opportunity that I've had. It's just such a blessing. And I don't take that for granted, and also just very thankful for those opportunities. And just the lessons and blessings that those opportunities and life that has given me. Like I said, I've been through many trials and tribulations, and sometimes I don't really understand as to why I'm going through what I'm going through. But then once I get through it, and like I said, I sit and I really meditate and just reflect on things, I literally write down like all the positive that I feel like came from the situation instead of focusing on the negative. And again, that really helps me. Like, I could be going through the darkest times in my life, but I will sit there and I will just make a positivity list of all the things positive that I've encountered during this time instead of just focusing on the negative. Because let's be honest, like, you continue to focus on the negative and that's all that's going to come back your way, just negativity, negativity, negativity. And I'm a firm believer of what you put out into the universe, you will receive back. And that also kind of falls into like another category that we're going to speak about here shortly. But don't take for granted your life lessons or the blessings that come your way. Like, they're all happening for a reason, and we just really need to figure out and dial in as to why these things are happening to us. And we won't get the answers right then and right there, but with due time, you'll see. Let's see what else. Being able to provide for my babies, with being off of work and maternity leave not being paid for, it was just certain circumstances that worked out in my favor a lot, to the point where I really didn't have to worry about income. Um, so I've literally been on maternity leave since, well, like January ish. And even though it was not paid, I was still able to come out on the positive side. And that was, again, with therapy and really putting into the universe what I wanted to receive back. And everything kind of like happened exactly how I said I wanted it to happen. So now I have to make sure that I put in that work to keep what I manifested, but also build on it so it can become bigger, better, and stronger. And that just, like I said, helped me provide for my kids, help me ensure that my kids can still do all the extra fun activities, help me make sure that I'm still able to pay registrations and, get my kids shoes and cleats and all the things that they want when I'm working as opposed to when I'm not. So again, just very thankful for that. So yeah, I think that really just touches on my being very thankful category, because like I said, things could be much worse. And instead of focusing on like what's so negative, I always try to focus on the positive, and that just really helps. And with me, I have three very special guests. It's my son and his bro. So let me go ahead and give them a shout out. We got Koa.
Hi.
Eli.
What's up?
And D Baby DeMille. Europe is crazy. Yeah. So you guys did Flag Academy together in 2 years of flag football, right?
Kinda. I kinda knew.
The second season y'all did with flag football, when I was your coach with Coach Nate and Koa, swore up and down y'all were his best friends from the first season of Flag and from Flag Academy, and I kept telling him that he did not know y'all. And even, but yeah, anyways. So that's basically how that went. You don't remember that?
Kinda.
Kind of. Well, me and Miss Tootie and Miss Joelle laugh about that all the time, because I swear, I don't know how, scoot back so I can see DeMille, but I don't know how I did not remember you guys from Flag Academy or from flag football. So when your mom's was like, yeah, they've been like friends for like 2 years now, Ashley, and I'm like, where was I at? Because clearly nowhere. I seen them during the second season of flag football, but like the first season in Flag Academy, didn't even see you guys. And then your mom showed me a picture, Eli, and that's when you had that little ponytail with all your you guys look like such little babies. So how does it feel grown together so far?
Good. Feels good. Awesome.
Why?
I think about the past sometimes, but
The past, you're only 9. How much of the past do you think about?
like 5 years. When I was 4.
Hell, in my head, y'all are still like 6, so that's like 3 years. But you're right. That's 5 years together. That's crazy work. Dang, son. Those 5 years kind of flew by fast.
We know.
We're waiting for D Baby to sign back up for football.
Yup.
No,
Yeah.
I'm playing basketball. I'm going to the NBA.
I know that's right.
D baby, we waiting on you.
D baby say he going to the NBA. Okay, he not worried about the NFL. He worried about the NBA. How do you like having brothers that's your age?
We just fit right to be in a group together.
Y'all just fit right to be in the group together.
Yeah.
I add on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just like when we're playing basketball outside, nobody is older than anybody or nothing. It gives us a challenge.
It gives y'all a challenge, so y'all get to just like when y'all was at the basketball court, kind of.
Yeah.
How like they finished the game and then you and Eli and you and Cole were all like going up against one another.
Yeah.
I like how y'all do that because it's like friendly competition, but you're still pushing one another to get better.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of my kids, feeding into my kids and their activities, I want to do for them what my mother did for me. I know it costs a lot of money and sacrifices in the weekends, but it's well worth it, as well as I just want the best for them with or without sports. So let's say my oldest is just like, I don't want to do sports anymore. I really want to focus on school. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to feed into them in whatever areas that their stomach needs feeding or however they desire to be fed. Like I am there to support them wholeheartedly as mom, as dad, as supporter, as any type of support that they need. I want to be that for my kids 10 toes. And especially because my mom was always that for me. Yes, my dad showed up, but my mom was really like, she was my number one. And I remember like she would get upset with me when she couldn't do something for me, and I would give her like the snakish attitude, as opposed to like if my dad couldn't do something for me and I just like shrug it off. And it was just a simple fact of I was so used to my mom always being there, always supporting me, always being my number one, like never telling me no in that aspect. Like if I have a track meet or if I have something coming up, like my mom was always making it. So if she were to be like, I can't make it right now, your grandmother needs me to take her here or whatever, I would really feel a certain type of way just because I was always used to her showing up selfishly, right? As opposed to like my dad always having his stuff to take care of, but he did show up on the times where like, I guess you could say it mattered the most. But I strive to be that for my kids. Like, I know I'm a single mom, but I feel like it can definitely be done to show up for my kids in each one of their events in every single way, not having anybody feel left out. And that's, practices and games and competitions or, extra trainings, or even if I have to go outside with you and throw the ball so you can become a better catcher, or look up workouts for football to incorporate while we're at home instead of just being in the house. I want to be that support system. I want my kids to be able to look back and be like, yeah, mom may have struggled or mom may have not struggled, but at the end of the day, I remember when mom was in the backyard with me putting in them reps, or I remember my mom always looking for training sessions for me to get better. Like, I don't want my kids to ever feel like they didn't have that support in that sense. And let's just talk about the cost and the sacrifices and the weekends that are all built into it. But like I said, it's 100% worth it, because let's not get it misconstrued. Sports cost a lot of money when it comes to registration and extra practices and traveling and, extra uniforms or what have you. Like, this stuff is not cheap. Like football, for example. Football, I think, is at max $200 for registration. And that's not to include, like, if we decide to do preseason tournaments, which coaches pay for, and I am a coach. And then that also factors into most preseason tournaments are in like 2.5 hours to maybe 3 hours away. So that's fuel, with fuel being $1,000 a gallon. Sometimes I may not want to travel back, especially because I have a newborn now. It's just like a lot. So the travel there and travel back with gas expenses, sometimes staying the weekend, that's hotel expenses. Like, these, especially youth sports, are not cheap at all. And then I was talking to Tootie during Memorial Day, and she was basically telling me about how her son wants to do AAU for basketball. And then, of course, like, I know my son's going to want to do AAU for basketball, but I just feel like I need to train him up more before we get to that. And luckily, those tryouts or whatever don't start until like late December, early January. So that gives me time to like save up and really invest into him when it comes to basketball, because he does like to play basketball. He's pretty good at it. He's just, I feel like he could be a little bit better. But AAU basketball is like the most expensive thing so far through all of their sports. Like when my oldest son played AAU basketball, I think my mom paid his registration fee. No, not even think. I know my mom paid his registration fee. I think the registration fee was like damn near $800, and then still had to come out of pocket another $200 to pay for uniforms and like if you wanted a bag and all that. Like the uniforms and the bag and all the extra stuff did not fall into the registration fee, so that was like $1,000 right there for registration, and mind blown, right? So I just want my kids to understand like the sacrifices and the hard work and the dedication that I put into them when it comes to this, and I don't want them to take it for granted. But I just, at the end of the day, like I said, I really just want the best for them. It's very important to me that I give the best to them, because I feel like that's all my mom ever wanted for me, and I would be not a fool, but I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but I'd be damned if I didn't do it for my kids too, because I can't come from a foundation that my mom had built, and it was so amazing. Like you can never hear me complain about what my mom didn't do, because she always made a way. So I just want to make sure I'm that way for my kids, but also teaching them to be thankful, because to be honest with you, I don't think, not even I don't think, I know for a fact I wasn't as thankful as I should have been and could have been to my mom, especially with all the sacrifices that she was putting up for, like all the sacrifices that she made, everything that she put up for it, and then just how life was really coming at her. But she, like I said, my mother still made a way. Like with me being this old and really thinking back on times that I've had with my mom, and like times that she was struggling but didn't say that she was struggling, and me being too naive back then to really understand that she was struggling, but me knowing now what struggling looked like and that she was going through it, but so gracefully. I want my kids to be better than me in that aspect. So, it's all about learning, growing, and like I said, just being thankful, but also still feeding into my kids and letting them know that I support them in anything that they want to do, as long as it's positive things. Now, I'm going to switch this up a tad bit, okay? Because, like I said, I've been watching the Miss Pat show. This is like my third time rewatching the full seasons from season 1 all the way to season 5. Sometimes I fall asleep and have to restart episodes or whatever, but it's never a problem to me. But that show is literally funny as fuck. Okay, and excuse the French, but y'all know by now, like I curse like a sailor. It is what it is. But I came to this realization because I was sitting in bed and I'm like coming up with podcast topics and journaling and doing my daily affirmations and just catching up with life and all the good things. And I literally am watching the first season. I think it was like the fourth episode, and Denise, who's Pat's sister in the show, was using Pat's bathroom and woke Pat and her husband up. So her husband's like, Denise, is that you in the bathroom? And she's like, yeah, it's me. Mind you, Denise is played by Tammy. I don't remember her last name, but Tammy from Basketball Wives LA. And if you know Tammy's a goddamn fool in real life. But she's using their bathroom, and the husband end up asking Denise why she's in the bathroom, and Denise is like, she's not using the other bathroom, which is used by the kids and her, because the bathroom's nasty as fuck, basically. And she was just like, the bathroom is so dirty that it has more calcium buildup than milk. And I don't know why, but that shit was just hilarious to me. Like I'm literally in the bed cackling, thinking to myself, I don't remember this show being this funny, but clearly it is this funny, because here I am, watching it for the third time from season 1 to season 5, and I'm still finding humor in every damn near episode. But I also love the show because it's like, I want to say majority of the show was really based off of Pat's real life trauma and tribulations and trials that she's been through, but she's a real life comedian, so she's making a joke of it, like she's making a mockery of it. And when you're watching the show, you're like, damn girl, you've really been through a lot. and the way you can find like the healing journey of making jokes out of what you've been through is just miraculous. Like, I think comedians really have this special niche to them that just allows them to really find joyous in the most outrageous, craziest moments in their life. And I honestly, I love it. Like, if you can make, I think I love it more so because I have dark humor. If you can have your traumas make you money, or not have your trauma hold you back, but instead build on it, I find that very intriguing. I find that very, very smart. You're very intelligent. You're very humbled also, in a way where you can sit back and like hear about somebody else's trauma when you think that you have it so bad or what have you, but you're listening to comedians and then you're understanding like, oh, okay, life really could have been way worse. Like, life could have really been like that, but instead it was like this for me. But I love the way that they find humor in all the, like, in all aspects in life. And not all comedians do this. Like, not all comedians come from a terrible place in life, but let's be real, like, majority of them do, whether it's body shaming, sex preference, being poor. Like, there are so many different genres and areas that a comedian can come from or make light of to build themselves up and really make a platform and a foundation for themselves. So I really, I'm inspired by that. Like, I'm inspired by stuff like that because I've been through trauma too, and I'm not going to say it's like, oh my God, trauma, but losing my mom is trauma, going through a breakup while losing my mom is trauma, realizing all the things that I was going through in that past relationship is trauma built. So I really look at myself as like, something to that nature. Um, so I'm not saying I could be a comedian, but I can correlate with where comedians come from. My last topic is live like you already have it. I've heard this on The Breakfast Club. This kind of came about in the podcast with Tootie and Clint. And it's just something that I've been trying to make my motto in this downtime that I've had, which I think also help me come out of the situations and everything. But let's say, like, you guys hear me say all the time, I see myself being a millionaire. Like, I can see it, I can feel it, I can smell it, I can really just, it's there. I just need to get there, right? And with that being said, like, I live my life as if I already lavishly have it, and not like overboard lavishly, but if I want to go eat somewhere that's kind of expensive, but I know it's delicious, I'm going to go eat there. If I want to buy me a new phone, I really look at my expenses, see what I can do, where I can do it, and I do it. If my son wants a pair of cleats, I see what I can do and I make it done. But that kind of also factors into like my support system, because in my eyes, no matter how much money somebody makes, like, there's always still room for support. Just because you made it somewhere doesn't mean that you don't need a support system anymore. So I, like, my dad, luckily I reached out to him and I was just like, hey, I want to get my youngest a football helmet for his football season. I just asked him if, he could help out with that. And he was just like, at the end of the month, I got you. Cool. Like, that support is always appreciated, but I'm also still like living like I have, and my bills are still getting paid. No, they're not on auto pay, because I don't care how much money I ever make. I'm not putting my bills on auto pay. Like, I'll pay you when I pay you. That's just a me thing. But like, even in the mornings, like, I'll wake up and I manifest things, I do my daily affirmations. Like, I'm literally living in the shoes that I see myself in the future. Now, like I said, I see myself being a millionaire, but I'm not just out here making big ass purchases that don't make sense. Like I said, I think about what I want, I see how the funds are looking, and I just move things around from there. And I just think that's so important, because that kind of falls into the write it down, make a plan, make it plain, whatever the saying is. It kind of all factors into one another. Like, you have to move how you see yourself in the future you have to wear not like the most extravagant things, but if you see yourself in the future wearing like Balenciaga or Versace or whatever, you could find duplicates of what the material looks like without spending the Versace or Louis Vuitton or Balenciaga money, but still setting a foundation for yourself as in, okay, this is what I want to wear. This is the price range I know it's in. Okay, so like, you can see yourself wearing certain clothing or a certain clothing brand. And you may not have it right now, but you can always find the duplicates of what you want to see yourself in the future and wear that until you get to where you are. And you can look back on those pictures and say, I remember when I really wanted this Versace shirt and it cost me like, or not even cost, but it was like $2,000. I didn't have $2,000, but I did have $150. So instead, I bought like this knockoff shirt or whatever, bought it from somebody who boosted, and now look at me, like I went from wearing a $150 t-shirt to wearing a $2,000 t-shirt, and this is just something how I see my life going from the jump. So all these things are just really important to me, and these are all the things that I've endured and encountered this past week. And let's just say this has been like a long, not boring, but very fulfilling, very mellow kind of week to where I don't have much to rack your brains about right now or with this episode, but I do hope that you guys enjoy the episode that I have with my son and his bros. Please don't forget to go listen to that. It's dropping today as well. So there are 2 new episodes of Highly Talkative. And just make sure you guys check those out. It's very appreciated. I really do this for myself, for anybody else who's thinking about doing a podcast and don't know where to start. Opportunities are endless. Let's be real. If you really know the right people, or if you have it in your heart that you really want to do something, don't stop. Like, set that goal and hit that goal, and then just keep going from there. Just because you hit the goal doesn't mean like that's the end of it. There are more goals to be met, whether it's making a video a day or a podcast a day or promoting yourself once a day. Like, you can get that down pat, but then like really dig into it. Okay, yeah, I'm promoting myself, but how can I promote myself better? How can I reach this type of, networking of people, or how can I really network myself better, or how can I put myself out in the public eye for them to really see what I have going on, which is kind of like where I'm at. So I'm only speaking from experience, right? So yeah, this episode wasn't that long, but I hope you guys really enjoyed it. But like I said, make sure you check out the other episode that I have out with my son and his bros. It's really cute. We're just having like natural conversations. And as always, I'm very thankful for all the support and all the likes, follows, downloads, everything. Of course, don't just keep me to yourself. Share me with your friends or your pastor or your therapist, your mom, your dad. I don't care who you share me with, but share me with somebody, because you never know how much of a long way it can go. You guys can follow me on all major streaming platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. I'm also on YouTube. You can also go to rss.com, search Highly Talkative Podcast, and select the streaming platform of your preference from there. Also, don't forget to check out Keep It Stashy. That's another one of my businesses that I have, where I focus on all your back end things when it comes to your business. That's social media, promoting, blogging, onboarding, offboarding, creating certain documentations, keeping files organized. That is what Keep It Stashy is for. And then I also have Sassy Ash Stash, which is all things custom t-shirts, hats, tumblers, pens, pencils, backpacks, all those things. I have Instagram for both of those, as well as Facebook. You can find Keep It Stashy at Keep It Stashy on Instagram, as well as on Facebook. And then you can find Sassy Ash Stash on Facebook and Instagram under the same handle, Sassy Ash Stash. As always, like I said, you guys are appreciated. I love you guys dearly, and I will holla at y'all next week. Deuces.